Hey guys, welcome to the Child Care Directors GF podcast. I have a question for you. What if the reason your program feels turbulent isn't the weather, but in fact, there's no one fully running the captain's seat? In early childhood education, we're trained to care for everyone else, the children, the families, the staff, but we are really taught how to lead with confidence, clarity, and authority. And today's guest says it's time to change all of that. So help me welcome Dr. Keena Rush Mosley to the podcast. This is the second time she's been on. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me again, and I'm excited about the conference.
What if the reason your program feels turbulent isn't the weather, but in fact, it's no one is fully in the captain's seat? In early childhood education, we're trained to care for everyone else, children, family, staff, but really are we taught how to lead with confidence, clarity, and authority? And today's guest says it's time to change that. Dr. Keena Rush Mosley is joining us today to talk about the Captain's Flight Plan. And trust me, this is not about titles. It's about purpose, presence, and becoming the kind of leader that you want to follow. So welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's glad to be here, and I'm super excited about the upcoming conference.
Yeah, me too. So let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be speaking about today. That is what you're bringing to the conference. Talk a little bit about elevating leadership presence.
So really, we want to talk about this idea, and I think you said it beautifully in the intro, that we're not really trained for leadership. We don't spend a lot of time making sure that people are prepared so that when it's their turn, right, when we've got next, that we're ready to actually take the helm. And I think it goes back to something else that you said. We are so focused on taking care of everything and everyone else that we don't even really focus on the fact that it really does take some core skills and abilities to be able to lead a program, to lead adults, to give direction, and to really have a vision for the direction that you want everyone else to go in. And so those are really the kinds of things that I'm going to be focusing on in my session is how do you work on making sure that you are what you need to be for leadership to be able to move your program forward, but also so that you can develop others and be able to take some of that load off of yourself.
Yeah, and you're so brilliant. You've written a couple of books. Share with folks a little bit about when we talk about like decision making with confidence. What does that look like?
Well, I think one of the things is we don't always even think about ourselves as being confident or the confidence that it takes. But really, when it comes to being a leader, particularly in the service industry as a whole, when we're talking about serving other human beings, we are very much heart-centered people. And when you are heart-centered, you often feel like having boundaries, holding those boundaries, giving direction, making demands on people, all of those types of things feel contrary to who you are. But in fact, they really are necessary for you to be able to get the work done and really to be able to allow the heart that you have for the people, for the program, for the community to really shine forward. And so you've got to be able to have the boundaries in place. You've got to be able to communicate with a certain level of confidence, clarity, and authority and surety. And a lot of times what happens is we're feeling like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not sure. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know how they're going to feel. I don't know how they're going to take it. All of those things we worry about. But the first person that we need to deal with is ourselves. And the reason that we worry about what everyone else is going to say is because we haven't fully grasped it all ourselves. And so there are times when you're going to have to almost step into this character. And so I do encourage people, when you feel like you don't have the confidence, create this alter ego, right? Beyonce had Sasha Fierce, right? So who's your alter ego that you're going to be, that you step into that person who really is an extension of who you are? It is the confident, super clear, super productive version of you. Step into that character and then deliver the message. Step into that character and then solve the problem and be able to communicate with the people that you serve and communicate with the people that you're working alongside in a way that they can understand and be able to take that information and move forward with it.
Yeah. So what I hear from that is, one, giving yourself permission to lead. And then
Yes.
also moving from being reactive to being intentional. That's what I take from those words of wisdom that you shared with us.
Absolutely. And a lot of times because we are so reactive, it's hard for us to be intentional. And it might even be hard for us to realize that we're not being so intentional. And we think about the problems all the time. When you are the owner or the leader of a whole entire center, it is very difficult for you to turn that off. And so you're thinking about it all the time, but are you thinking about the problem on a surface level, or are you thinking about the root cause of it and how you can solve it from a way that it won't keep happening? A lot of times we keep going through the same cycles because we aren't addressing the root cause of the issue.
Yeah. And that's why reflective leadership is so important, right? To go back, like, you can make these changes, you can do different things to make your program run smoother. But if you skip that part of going back and being reflective to say, did that solve the problem, or are we still having that issue? I think that's, where really where you find it. And also, I think that's where you can find some of that confidence too. When you're being reflective, you can be like, yeah, you know what? I made that decision. I led that thing like a boss and it worked, right? And so you keep picking up those little small wins, and they definitely add up.
Yes. Yeah. And it's okay to pat yourself on the back. Not only is it okay, it's necessary. Yeah. Because that is what's going to help you to build that confidence muscle. And it's going to be the thing that helps you to stand a little bit taller when you have to have those challenging conversations.
Yeah. One thing I love about your work is that you focus on the internal factors like clarity, confidence, purpose. And, before we have strategies and systems, right, you need to have those things. Why does it matter so much?
It matters because people are looking for you to lead them. They might not say it. They may not even always act like it, but they're looking for you to lead them. And when you are able to give that direction, it is going to make things go so much smoother. And people don't realize the way in which you lead very much improves your efficiency and your effectiveness. It's less stress on you, less stress on your team. It allows you to have better time management. It improves your systems. It works in so many different ways, but you've got to be willing and able to really grab those reins and pull it all together.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about behind the scenes for a minute. So leaders are burning out, right? And then you have some folks that have imposter syndrome, like, I don't know that I'm the one to fix the problem. So how do people maybe address that?
So the thing about imposter syndrome is oftentimes it causes us to hyperfixate on ourselves, and you don't have to do everything yourself. You may not be the person to solve the problem. You may not be the person that has all the answers. And honestly, you don't have to be the person that has all the answers, and you don't have to be the one that solves the problem. What you need to do is pull together. The best leaders are not the leaders that can do everything themselves. The best leaders are the people that can pull together a team that can get it done collectively, that it takes confidence and clarity to be able to say, you know what, I'm not a great time manager, but I have this person on my team that is. I'm not a great writer, but I have this person on my team that is. And pull from the strengths of the collective unit as opposed to trying to put everything on your shoulders. And that will help with the imposter syndrome. That will also help with getting things accomplished. That will help with building your team and boosting retention and eliminating some of that burnout, because you won't have all of the load on yourself. So it's really about figuring out, how do we distribute this responsibility in a way that makes sense and a way that is going to allow everyone to shine together? And then make sure that you are giving credit to those folks that have done these things. We got this grant because so-and-so was such a good writer. I had the ideas, but she was able to put the words together, and really highlight the things that other people are doing well, giving them some type of recognition for it. It's going to take you a long way.
Yeah. One of the things I think that when you said that, I think people should ask themselves what strengths are being underused in their program now, right? Everybody has talents. What strengths do you know that your folks have that you're not using? The second thing I hear is let go of that emotional weight of leadership and know it's okay to not have all the answers and it's okay to ask for help. And that's the thing, asking for help. Ask for help. I do it all the time. I'll walk in and say, guys, this is the problem we have. Here's what I know. Here's where I think there's a gap. What do you guys think? And
what do they know that maybe you don't know and you can't see from the seat that you're sitting in?
Yeah. And this is exactly the kind of conversation that people can really expect at the conference, like real, honest, and affirming. So let me ask you, what strengths do people need to have to lead programs forward? Besides the ones we talked about, like what other things do we, before we let folks go, what other things do you want to maybe talk about?
Well, I definitely want to make sure that leaders are leading from a place of collaboration. Long gone is the day where the leader has to shoulder all of this responsibility by themselves. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons that that doesn't work anymore, I do a lot of work on generational influences. And when we look at the way that, in particular, millennials and Gen Z were raised and nurtured, they were raised and nurtured in collaborative environments. And if we continue to try to lead like the leader has all the responsibility on their shoulders, then you're going to lose your staff. I truly believe the inability for the generations to kind of come together is one of the things that is causing some of the turnover that we're having, or a good portion of that turnover. So we have to make sure that we're leading from a place of collaboration. Nobody wants to be a part of a losing team. And being on a losing team means that not everyone on the team is doing their absolute best and contributing to the ultimate goal. So when you are hiring and you are selecting staff, you also want to make sure that that's a part of the discussion, that you need team players that are going to do things that are based on their strengths that help us all to win. It's not just about their classroom. It's not just about what's on their desk. This is something that we're all getting in there together, and you're going to help what's on somebody else's desk, and somebody's going to help you with what's on your desk, and so forth and so on. So we'll talk about those kinds of things and really have some practical ways where people can dig in and see, what do I need to do differently? Where are my strengths? What are the strengths of my team? What are the things that I'm missing? What are the reflective pieces that not just I need to engage in as a leader, but also, what are those barriers that are in my way? What are those personal things that I need to deal with? And who do I want to be when I show up every day? And a lot of times we are kind of just all over the place because we haven't really sat down and identified who we want to be as a leader and what is that legacy that we want people to remember us by. And so we'll go through some exercises that'll kind of help us to see who we are and how do we want to get to the person that we really, really, really want and need to be.
Yeah. So I think as we think about all of this through the lens, I think the benefits definitely would be increased staff trust, definitely clearer vision, a better culture for sure, and becoming a leader that others want to follow and, not just comply with, but actually want to follow you. And this is not about doing more. It's about just being a better leader. So without giving too much away, what do you hope attendees feel when they walk out of your sessions?
Hope they feel reassured and reinvigorated. Like they walk out kind of like, how Clark Kent, okay, I might be dating myself here. You know how Clark Kent goes into the booth, right? And he's got the little glasses on and his little briefcase, and he's just kind of Clark. And he walks out and he's Superman, and he's stands there and he has his, his hands on his hips and his shoulders are broad. That's what I want for people. And I don't want them to just walk out and feel that way. I want them to be able to walk back into their centers and their staff will see a difference.
Yes. I love that. It is always a pleasure to talk to you. Guys that are listening.
You too.
Yeah, guys that are listening. If this conversation resonated with you, or if you've ever felt like you're running a program, but not fully ready to lead it yet, then you don't want to miss this session. She actually has 2 sessions. She's got the leadership track day, and then she's also speaking on Saturday. Visit our website. The link is below, and you'll be able to see all of the sessions that are being presented for 3 days. And we're so excited. We actually partnered with 5 different state AUIC affiliates that are promoting our conference on top of all of the 35 speakers. So we are going to sell out. I am very excited about that. We're definitely going to sell out of this event. So if you've been thinking about it, you've been on the fence and you haven't got your ticket yet, you definitely want to do that sooner than later. The host hotel, the Crown, has sold out of all their rooms. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. But we do have another block with the Hyatt Hotel, which is right around the corner. So you definitely want to, get your tickets and grab your hotel room so that you are not left out. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Child Care Directors Chair podcast. As always, have an amazing day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.